The DJI Flip incorporates a brand new unfolding design with one of the best cameras they've ever put in a sub 250 gram drone. So why, despite all of that, am I actually going to be returning this as soon as I finish filming this video? Who is this actually for? And ultimately, is it right for you? Hi, my name is Gabe at Digital Tech Reviews and Tips, and if you were looking for a video just blanketly, positively telling you to get this drone, go watch one of the videos by one of DJI's influencers. No hate on them, but they do have to often sign a contract to make a positive, like only focusing on the good things video. So if that's what you're looking for, go watch that. But if you're looking for something that also includes some of the cons of this drone and reasons why you should get another drone or maybe not upgrade to this drone from what you have currently, then this video is for you. So with that in mind, let's just get right to this video. Links down below, comment, subscribe, like, you know what to do, but let's start the discussion. Starting with the positives of the DJI Flip, as I mentioned up front, this drone does have one of the best cameras that DJI has ever put in one of their sub 250 gram drones. It actually is the same sensor that's in the Mini 4 Pro. There's a few restrictions, but if you're looking to spend $500, $700 and not really wanting to spend much more than that, this is the best camera you can get in a DJI drone. And yeah, it's maybe not as good of a drone as the Mini 4 Pro, but if all you care about is the camera, then the DJI Flip could be a very good choice for you. Now, moving on to the drone itself, as I mentioned up front, this is a brand new, unique, unfolding design, and it also obviously incorporates these new shielded propellers, which are very good if you're planning on flying around people. Like, you're probably not gonna hit someone, and you shouldn't be running into people, but say it does fly into you or fly into an object, the fact that these propellers are shielded not only protects people and animals or whatever from the propellers, but also is more likely to keep the drone flying in the air and not on the ground in a million pieces if it just happens to catch the tip of a branch or something like that. The final thing about the drone that is also really nice is the quick launchability. And this is something that DJI has copied kind of from Hover Air with their Pro and Pro Max drones. I won't say copied, just was inspired by maybe. But more recently has taken from their new Neo drone, which was the $200 drone, and now basically put into a more expensive, more capable drone. If you don't know about this, basically what it does is it lets you open the drone and get it in the air in a matter of seconds, which if you haven't flown DJI drones, you know, with something like the Mini 4 Pro here, fastest I could probably get this launched is a minute, maybe a minute and a half, but that's really hurrying. And with the Flip and the Neo, you don't actually even have to use a controller. So yeah, if you're looking for the smallest package that you can take with you, maybe traveling or whatever, and don't want to have to carry a remote, you can either control the Flip using your phone or just using the onboard buttons. Like, you don't even need a controller. Unfold it, choose the flight mode, do the quick shot or whatever it is, have it come back and land, and go on your merry way, not really having to worry about, okay, I have to get the actual shot. So really, there are a lot of things to like about this drone, but obviously the reason why I'm making this video is because I'm returning it. So now, without further ado, let's move on to the reasons why I don't like this drone. Moving on to the reasons why I'm actually returning this drone and the things that are not so hot about it. First off, the camera up front. While it is the same sensor as the Mini 4 Pro, they did restrict it in a couple ways. First, it can't record in true HLG mode, like true HDR, so you're not gonna get the fullest dynamic range that you can out of that sensor, which maybe that's not a big deal for you, but for me, I like that because I can mess around with it in post, export it in either HDR or regular SDR, and know that I'm getting the fullest dynamic range. Now, also moving on to the hardware aspect of the camera and the gimbal, it can't go vertical. So while the Mini 4 Pro can, you know, rotate that camera over to true vertical mode, and you can still use the full sensor and the full field of view and get 4K video, the DJI Flip instead relies on cropping in, which it's not the end of the world, but you're restricted to only 2.7K and get a little narrower field of view. Now, the final thing with the gimbal is the DJI Flip can only rotate up to 35 degrees and the Mini 4 Pro goes up to 60. Not a big deal, honestly, in my point of view, but just thought I'd mention it so I could round out all the things that are different in the cameras. Really, overall, camera, the biggest thing is the vertical, but basically they're the same, and you really just got to decide which drone is best for your filming style and what you need. For me, as an aerial photographer, aerial videographer, the mini series is much more suited for me because this drone is like Daft Punk and goes harder, better, faster, stronger. What do I mean by that? Well, the Mini 4 Pro has a higher max takeoff elevation. So basically, if you're hiking a mountain, the Flip is gonna max out at around 10,000 feet or so, whereas the Mini 4 Pro is technically rated up to 13,000 feet. And while those aren't hard and fast numbers, it definitely means that the Mini 4 Pro is gonna be at least 30%-ish more capable of flying at higher elevations in thinner air than the DJI Flip. Now, top speed, the Mini 4 Pro is also significantly faster than the Flip. It can fly 36 miles an hour instead of 27 miles an hour, so pretty decently faster in sport mode. And then also in tracking mode, it also is faster. I don't have those numbers on me, but if you want to compare the specs of these drones side by side, I'll link down below to the spreadsheets that I keep to make this job a little easier for me. Now, the final thing, and is really something that's evident in the flight time of these drones and their batteries, is that the DJI Flip is much more inefficient than the Mini 4 Pro. They both have a flight time of around 30-ish minutes rated. I think the Mini 4 Pro is a bit longer on the standard batteries, but then of course much longer on the extended batteries. But yeah, on the standard batteries, keeping them under 250 grams, they're pretty close in time, with the Mini 4 Pro just slightly edging out the Flip. However, the Flip is doing that with much larger batteries, which essentially means that the Mini 4 Pro is much more efficient in the air. And I've watched some videos online comparing them, and you can clearly see that in the fact that the DJI Flip is actually louder in the air than the Mini 4 Pro. So kind of interesting there. And I think mostly has to do with the fact of these propeller cages. They're just not efficient. It's much more efficient to have larger, longer propellers like the Mini 4 Pro has, but obviously it's a trade-off of which one suits your flying style and your use case better. Now, the final thing with the Mini 4 Pro, which really was kind of just like the icing on the cake, is the sensors that the drone has on it for obstacle avoidance. Now, none of DJI's obstacle avoidances are actually the type where you can like lock it in and trust it to actually avoid an obstacle. Like any small branch, it's probably gonna hit a wire. I've seen some impressive stuff out there and they have gotten better, but still, do not trust these drones with your life, or with their own life, I guess. But the Mini 4 Pro does have better obstacle avoidance than the Flip by far. The Flip has only frontward facing obstacle avoidance, and even with that, it's only their new 3D sensing obstacle avoidance, which I personally think is probably the worst. The Mini 4 Pro, on the other hand, has full 360 obstacle avoidance, and also the ability with a software update that came about 6 months ago to do vision assist, which basically lets you on the controller look in any direction. So if you're flying and you're like, ooh, I don't know how close exactly I am to that building, you can just use the backwards sensor and look out there and see, okay, I still have a couple feet to go before I actually am gonna be hitting the building. So yeah, it really just makes it easier, and the fact that the sensors are better overall and are in all directions is just a little bit extra of a fail-safe in case you lose track of the drone for a moment and are flying into something. So overall, who do I think the DJI Flip is for? Well, there are really kind of two groups of people that I think this is great for. For one is content creators who are looking for drone footage to add to their videos, but don't want to really become a drone pilot. Like, you just want a couple shots of yourself maybe, or of the hotel you're staying in, or something like that, that is slightly different than just your handheld footage that you've had from up to now. And in that case, the DJI Flip is great for you. As I said, offers basically the same camera of the Mini 4 Pro, but in a much more affordable package, and is easier to fly with some of the quick shot modes. Now, the other group of people that I think this drone is right for is the more recreational crowd. Like, you're looking for something to take with you when you travel, maybe when you just go hiking with friends or something like that. You're not looking for anything crazy. You're not doing it professionally. You just want to be able to share maybe some cool shots of your friends on social media to show your other friends that, hey, you should come hiking with me the next time I say I'm gonna go hiking, because it's actually a lot of fun. Look at this, look how cool we are at the top of the mountain. And in that case, the DJI Flip is incredibly great for that. Like, DJI basically stole or was inspired by the design and the use case of the hover air drones with their quick launchability, and have now brought that to the Neo and the DJI Flip. So this drone you can take to the top of the mountain with you, or on a trip with you and not have to actually even take the controller. You just open it up, choose the quick shot mode, and boom, it gets the shot, it's back down, and you can put it away quicker than you could oftentimes even get the DJI Mini 4 Pro or other drones like that launched in the air. So really, overall, it is a good drone, but for me, someone who already has a Mini 4 Pro, this is just kind of redundant. Same camera, not as capable of a drone. I'm personally going to be waiting out for the Neo 2 that might be coming in September or October of this year, and will offer that quick launchability, but in a much smaller size package than the DJI Flip here. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys are still watching, I will include links to some people who did actually receive the DJI Flip from DJI and made some pretty good reviews that aren't biased in one direction or the other. I also have my DJI drone comparison spreadsheet down there that I keep up to date, so you can compare all the drone specs side by side to help yourself decide which drone is right for you. But yeah, like I said, that is it for this video, guys. So if you are still watching, thank you for watching. Fly safe, be a creator, not a consumer, and peace out. Have a nice day.